My sister seduced my fiancé, claiming true love. I arrived with her soulmate on my arm and ended the charade on a brutal afternoon. The scent of white roses always made me think of happy endings, until that October afternoon, when the sweet perfume turned into something nauseating, almost toxic. I was holding a bouquet of them when I found the messages. White roses, the same flowers I had chosen for my wedding, scheduled for 3 months from now. The same flowers my younger sister Lily said were too vulgar for her taste. Funny how insignificant details gain devastating weight when the world falls apart. My name is Emma Harrison. I'm 28, and for 25 of those years, I believed I knew my sister. I believed blood meant loyalty. I believed in many beautiful things that turned out to be lies wrapped in expensive gift paper. It all started so trivially that it was pathetic. Brandon, my fiancé, had forgotten his phone at home. He never forgot his phone. It was practically an extension of his body, that iPhone always vibrating with client emails, legal case notifications, the busy life of an ambitious corporate lawyer. But that morning, he rushed out for an important meeting and left the device on the coffee table next to his half-empty coffee cup. I wasn't going to look. I swear I wasn't. But then the phone vibrated, and vibrated again, and again. 6 messages in less than 2 minutes. And the name on the screen made my stomach churn in a way I couldn't explain at the moment. But my body already knew, already recognized the danger before my mind accepted it. Lily, my sister, with a red heart next to the name. Thought, there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for this. There has to be. Lily and Brandon are friends. They always have been friends. The heart means nothing. People use emojis all the time without thinking. But my hands were already trembling when I unlocked the phone. The password was my birth date, 0415. He always said I was the most important thing in his life. Another beautiful lie. The first message I read was, "I still taste you on my lips. How am I going to look at her at lunch today without wanting to kiss you again?" The bouquet of white roses fell to the floor. I don't remember letting go. I just remember the sound of the petals touching the wooden floor, soft as a whisper, as my world exploded into absolute silence. I kept reading. I don't know why I kept reading. Perhaps because part of me needed the complete pain, the entire truth, with no room for doubt or denial. Brandon, you're incredible. I've never felt this with anyone, not even with her. Lily, I know. It's because this is real, B. What you have with Emma, it's comfortable, safe, but it's not passion. It's not what we have. Brandon, when are we going to tell her? Lily, after the wedding? I don't want to ruin her day. She plans so much. Brandon, Lily, we can't get married. You know that. I know, but she'll be so devastated. My sister, she's always been so emotionally fragile. Remember when our dog died? She cried for weeks. This will destroy her. Reflection. Fragile. She called me fragile while destroying my life and feigning concern? They had been having an affair for 4 months. 4 months of lies. Of family dinners where Lily smiled at me from across the table. Of conversations about bridesmaids and bouquets. Of hugs and "I love you, sis" whispered in my ear. 4 months where my younger sister slept with the man I loved, then came to have breakfast at my house, sat in my kitchen, ate the pancakes I made, and looked me in the eyes as if nothing was wrong. What broke me wasn't just the betrayal, it was the ease, the naturalness with which she lied, as if betraying her own sister was just another daily task, something to fit in between Pilates class and happy hour with friends. There was more. There always is more. I scrolled up through the messages, months of conversations, photos, videos, plans. They had slept together in my apartment, in my bed. On afternoons when I was at the office, working on graphic design projects, earning the money that paid half the rent for that place, Lily used the spare key I had given her for emergencies and brought my fiancé to my house. Thought, the purple sheet. That purple sheet that mysteriously appeared clean when I was sure I had left things unwashed. Lily said she had stopped by and helped with the mess. She was erasing evidence. My cell phone rang. Jake, my best friend since college, the only person who had always been brutally honest with me, even when the truth hurt. Emma, are you okay? You sound like you're crying. I hadn't even realized I was. Tears streamed silently, wetting the screen of Brandon's iPhone, which I still held too tightly, my knuckles white. Jake? My voice came out broken, unrecognizable. I need you, now. He didn't ask questions. Address. I'm on my way. 20 minutes later, Jake Sullivan was in my living room, his dark brown eyes analyzing my face with that photographer's intensity that misses no detail. He had just returned from a photo shoot in Manhattan, still wearing that worn leather jacket I always teased him about, his hair messy the way it got when he nervously ran his hand through it. I handed him the phone without saying a word. I watched his jaw clench as he read. His fingers squeezed the device so hard I thought it would break. When he finally looked at me, there was something dangerous in his eyes, a cold, calculated rage I had never seen before. How long have you known? He asked. 15 minutes. Where's Brandon? Meeting. Back at 6. Jake looked at the clock. 3 in the afternoon. 3 hours. He took a deep breath, ran a hand through his hair, the nervous gesture I knew so well, and sat beside me on the sofa. Emma, look at me. I waited until our eyes met. You're not going to fall apart. Understand? You're not going to give them the satisfaction of seeing you broken. I'm already broken, Jake. No. He held my face with both hands, forcing me to focus on me. You're hurt. There's a difference. Broken doesn't mend. Hurt heals. And sometimes it becomes stronger in the scar. Reflection. At that moment, I didn't believe him, but I held onto the words like a talisman. Stronger in the scar. We spent the next few hours in heavy silence, Jake sitting beside me as I reread the messages, each word a new stab. He didn't try to comfort me with soothing lies. He didn't say it would be okay or they don't deserve your tears. Jake just stayed there, solid and present, while I processed the destruction. At 5:40, he finally spoke. You have 2 options, Emma. You can confront them now, have the dramatic scene, cry, scream, and let them comfort each other afterward, feeling guilty but secretly relieved because now they can be together without hiding. Or, his eyes met mine, and there was something there that made me sit up straighter, something sharp, dangerous. Or you can do it your way, on your time, on your terms. Revenge? The word left my mouth before I could think. Justice, Jake corrected. There's a difference. When Brandon arrived home at 6:15, I was in the kitchen making dinner. Roast chicken with potatoes, his favorite dish. I had even lit candles. Jake had left through the back door 10 minutes earlier, taking Brandon's iPhone with him. I had photographed every message, every photo, every piece of evidence. Hey, love! Brandon kissed my cheek, casual, carefree. He smelled of expensive cologne and ambition. Sorry I forgot my phone. Any important calls? I smiled. A smile I had learned to make in those 3 hours with Jake. The smile that doesn't reach the eyes, but looks real enough if you're not paying close attention. Nothing important, I lied, pouring the wine. Lily called, wants to have lunch tomorrow, said she has news. I saw something cross his face, quick. Guilt? Fear? Excitement? Oh yeah? What kind of news? I don't know. I raised my glass. But you know how Lily is. Always dramatic. Always has to be the center of attention. We clinked glasses. The crystal chimed, a delicate and civilized sound, so different from the chaos roaring inside me. Thought, I can do this. I can wear the same mask they wore with me. I can lie with the same ease. I can be cold. I can be calculating. I can be everything they never imagined I was capable of being. That night, lying beside Brandon in our bed, the same bed where he had betrayed me with my sister, I made a silent promise. They wanted true love. They would find out that true love wasn't what they had. It was loyalty. It was honesty. It was respect. And I was going to show them exactly what they had lost. But first, I needed information. I needed to understand the game before playing it. And there was one person who can help me. Someone who knew Lily better than anyone. Someone she had discarded years ago for not being ambitious enough. Marcus Chen. Lily's first love, the high school boy she dated for 3 years and brutally dumped when he decided to start a small tech business instead of going to Harvard. He has no vision, she had said at the time, rolling her eyes. He wants to stay in this pathetic small town fixing computers. I deserve more. I picked up my laptop and searched for his name. What I found made me smile for the first time in hours. Marcus Chen was no longer fixing computers in a pathetic small town. Marcus Chen had sold his cybersecurity startup for $8 million 6 months ago. Marcus Chen was on Forbes Under 30. Marcus Chen was exactly the kind of success Lily always said she wanted. And, I discovered while scrolling through his Instagram, was single. Reflection. Sometimes revenge doesn't need to be cruel. Sometimes it's just showing people what they lost while they were busy destroying others. I sent a message on LinkedIn. Simple, direct. Hi, Marcus. I don't know if you remember me. I'm Emma, Lily's sister. I need to talk to you about something important. It has to do with her. Do you have time for coffee this week? The reply came in less than an hour. Emma, of course I remember you. You were always the cool sister. Coffee tomorrow at 10 a.m.? I know a place in Brooklyn you'll like. I closed the laptop and looked at the bedroom ceiling. Brandon snored softly beside me, completely unaware that his world was about to implode. The scent of white roses was still in the air, but now it didn't make me feel nauseous. It made me feel determined. They wanted true love? They would have it, just not in the way they imagined. The charade was about to end, and I would be the one to control when and how the curtains would fall. The cafe in Brooklyn that Marcus chose had that characteristic smell of freshly ground beans mixed with aged wood, the kind of place that tried very hard to be authentic and succeeded. I arrived 10 minutes early, as I always did, and ordered a cappuccino I barely touched. My stomach was too upset for caffeine. Jake had insisted on accompanying me, but I needed to do this alone. Some conversations required vulnerability, and vulnerability works best without an audience. Marcus walked in at exactly 10 o'clock. He had changed, obviously, 7 years change anyone, but he still had that easy smile I remembered from family dinners when he and Lily dated in high school. But now there was something more refined about him, a confidence that comes from someone who has proven their worth to the world and to themselves. Emma, he hugged me, and the gesture was genuine. You look different, more mature, beautiful. You've changed too. I pointed to the Rolex watch on his wrist. I guess computer repairman doesn't describe what you do anymore. He laughed, but there was something bitter in the laugh. Lily always had a special talent for underestimating people, especially those who loved her. We sat down. Marcus ordered a double espresso and studied me with those dark, analytical eyes that probably made him a formidable businessman. So, he said, getting straight to the point, you mentioned you needed to talk about Lily. Is she okay? Depends on your definition of okay. I took a deep breath. She's been sleeping with my fiancé for 4 months. Marcus froze with his cup in the air. For a long moment, he said nothing. He just looked at me, processing, and then carefully placed the cup back on the saucer with deliberate care. Son of a bitch, he muttered. Then, louder, Emma, damn, I'm so sorry. You don't need to be. You didn't do anything. No, but... He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture that reminded me of Jake. She's complicated. Always has been. But this is another level. Do you still think about her? It wasn't the question I had planned to ask, but it came out anyway. Marcus was silent for a moment, looking out the window at the busy Brooklyn street. When he spoke, his voice was lower, more honest. I did, for a long time. Years, to be honest. He laughed humorously. Pathetic, right? The girl dumped me because I wasn't good enough, and I still dreamed of her. But then I built my company. I got rich. I dated other women. Some amazing ones, by the way. And you know what I realized? What? That Lily wasn't special. She was just beautiful and cruel enough to make an 18-year-old boy think it was love. His eyes met mine. But you You were always different. I remember when you defended me at that Thanksgiving dinner. Lily was making jokes about my little computer business, and you said at least I had the courage to pursue my dreams instead of just criticizing others. Reflection. I had forgotten about that dinner, but Marcus hadn't. Funny how gestures we make without thinking can mean everything to someone. Marcus, I didn't come here for a nostalgia trip. I pulled out my phone and showed him some of the messages that Jake had photographed. I came because I need your help. He read in silence, his jaw clenching more and more. When he finished, his eyes were hard as stone. What do you want me to do? Lily and Brandon are announcing their engagement in 2 weeks. They're having a dinner party. They've invited all the family, close friends. They're going to tell everyone they fell in love and couldn't fight against destiny. I paused, letting the word destiny hang in the air like the insult it was. I want you to come with me, as my +1. Marcus tilted his head, a slow smile forming. Revenge? Justice, I corrected, using Jake's word. There's a difference. What is it? Revenge is about hurting them. Justice is about showing the truth. I leaned forward. Marcus, you became everything Lily said she wanted. Success, money, recognition. And she discarded you like trash because you weren't ambitious enough. I want her to see what she lost. I want her to understand that while she was busy destroying my life for a mediocre corporate lawyer who cheats on his own fiancé with her, the man she humiliated became someone extraordinary. And you? Marcus asked, softly. What do you get out of this? The satisfaction of seeing them face their choices. I paused, and perhaps a little dignity back. Marcus was silent for a long moment, studying my face as if he were reading a complex code. Finally, he nodded. I'm in. But on one condition. What is it? After this is over, after all this mess explodes, and it will explode, Emma, you know that, you let me take you out to dinner. For real. No games, no revenge, no drama. Just you and me, getting to know each other as real people. Something tightened in my chest. It wasn't love. It was too early, too complicated for that. But it was possibility. The idea that perhaps, after the storm, there could be something beyond destruction. Deal. All beautiful. All bought with money she earned as a marketing consultant. A job that, as far as I knew, consisted mainly of long lunches and Instagram posts. The blue one, I said, pointing to the most conservative. Elegant, but not too flashy. You think so? Lily wrinkled her nose. I was thinking the red one, more impactful. It's your day, I said, softly. Wear whatever makes you happy. She studied me for a moment, and something crossed her face. It almost looked like guilt, but it passed too quickly to be sure. Emma, she began, her voice strangely hesitant. Are you happy with Brandon? The question caught me off guard. For a second, just 1 second, I considered telling the truth. I considered screaming, crying, confronting her right then and there. But then I remembered the plan. I remembered justice. I remembered that she didn't deserve my honesty when she had only given me lies. Very happy, I lied, smiling. He's perfect. I can't wait to marry him. Something darkened in her gaze. Anger? Jealousy? She turned quickly, picking up the red dress. Good, she said, her voice strange. That's good. Reflection. At that moment, I realized something disturbing. Lily didn't just want Brandon. She wanted me to suffer. She wanted to be the chosen one, the special one, the one who won. The betrayal wasn't about love. It was about competition. And I never knew we were competing. On the night before the dinner, lying beside Brandon for the last time, I made a final discovery. His cell phone vibrated. He had forgotten to put it on silent. A message from Lily. Tomorrow changes everything. We'll finally be truly together. I love you, B. I've always loved you, since the first day I saw you. First day I saw you. That hit me like a punch. The first day Lily saw Brandon was on my 25th birthday, 3 years ago. I had just started dating him. Lily had come to the party, met Brandon, and said he was cute, but not my type. 3 years. She had been eyeing him for 3 years. Thought. How many times did she come to my house, sit at my table, eat in my kitchen, and look at the man I loved as if he were hers? How many times did she plan this, fantasize about this, while I, naive and stupid, thought I had a sister who loved me? I got out of bed carefully so as not to wake Brandon. I went to the kitchen, got a bottle of wine and a glass. Not the nice crystal glass, a regular, cheap glass, the kind you don't mind breaking. Jake called me at 2 in the morning. Are you okay? No. Do you want me to come over? No. Just stay on the line, just for a while. We were silent on the phone for 20 minutes. I drank wine. He breathed on the other end of the line. It was comforting in a strange way to know that someone was there, even if only in the digital ether. Emma, he finally said, softly, tomorrow, when everything explodes, you won't be alone. I'll be there. Marcus will be there. And you're going to be amazing. Because you're the strongest person I know, even if you don't believe it yet. What if I fall apart? Then I'll pick you up. That's what friends are for. Reflection. That night, I realized that true love wasn't what Brandon and Lily pretended to have. True love was Jake, at 2 in the morning, staying on the line with me as I drank cheap wine and tried not to cry. True love was Marcus, agreeing to help me even after years. True love was choice, loyalty, presence, not stolen passion and lies wrapped in romantic excuses. Tomorrow would be the day, the dinner, the revelation, the end of everything. And I was ready. Or, at least, I pretended to be. If you're enjoying this story, please like and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories. Share in the comments, have you ever experienced family betrayal? How did you deal with it? The day of the dinner dawned with a gray sky that threatened rain but never delivered on its promise. Typical of November in New York. Everything suspended, everything waiting, everything about to happen but not happening yet. I woke up at 6 in the morning, even though I hadn't slept more than 2 hours. Brandon still snored beside me, completely oblivious to the fact that this would be the last day we would sleep in the same bed, the last morning of the lie. I went to the kitchen and made coffee. The strong, bitter smell reminded me of all the mornings we had done this together. Brandon reading news on his tablet, me checking emails, both of us existing in the same space with that comfortable intimacy that comes from years together. How many of those mornings were real? How many were just him counting the minutes until he could send another message to my sister? Thought. There's a specific cruelty in discovering that your entire life was a lie. It's not just the present that dies, it's the past too. Every happy memory now comes with an asterisk. But he was already thinking of her. But she was already planning this. But nothing was true. My phone vibrated. Marcus. I'll pick you up at 6 p.m. Wear something that makes you feel powerful. Today is the day they find out who you really are. I smiled despite everything. Marcus had a way of making dramatic statements sound practical. I chose a black dress. Simple, elegant, the kind of thing that doesn't scream for attention, but ensures everyone looks. High heels that made me 5'7" instead of 5'5". Impeccable makeup. Jake had taught me some photography tricks about contouring and lighting that worked surprisingly well on human faces. When I finished, the woman in the mirror didn't look like the Emma that Brandon and Lily knew. She looked sharper, more dangerous, stronger. Brandon woke up at 8, yawning and stretching like a satisfied cat. You look beautiful, he said, pulling me in for a kiss. I let him. One last time. One last lie to match all of his. I have a client lunch, I lied. I'll be back at 5. We'll meet at dinner? Sure, he smiled. That confident lawyer's smile I used to find charming. Now it just seemed fake. I bet he is, I agreed, picking up my purse. I got to the cafe at 2 in the morning. He had dark circles under his eyes. Probably hadn't slept either. Are you sure about this? He asked for the 10th time. Emma, there's still time to back out. We can just not go. Let them have their pathetic dinner and move on with our lives. And let them win? I shook my head. No, they don't deserve a happy ending built on lies and betrayal. But you deserve peace. I'll have peace, I promised. Later, when this is over and I know I wasn't a coward, that I didn't let them destroy me without a fight. Jake sighed, but nodded. Then let's do this right. He pulled out a folder. I printed copies of all the messages, organized them by date. I also have the investigators' photos. And, he hesitated, there's one more thing you need to know. My stomach tightened. What? Brandon owes money. A lot of money. Online gambling. He's in debt about $50,000. The world stopped. What? I hired the investigator to follow him, remember? We found out he has a serious gambling problem. Sports betting, mostly. He's been hiding it from you for months. Jake showed me bank statements. Look here, he has a secret account. Strange deposits, large withdrawals. Emma, he's desperate. Reflection. And suddenly, everything made sense. Why did he stay with Lily despite being engaged to me? Because Lily had money. She had the expensive apartment, the imported car, the rich family. She wasn't true love. She was a financial escape plan. He's using her, I whispered. It looks like it. And she probably doesn't even know. Something strange happened then. For a brief moment, I felt pity for Lily. Not forgiveness, never forgiveness, but pity. Because she was so busy destroying my life that she didn't realize she was being used too. Does that change anything? Jake asked, cautiously. No. My voice came out firm. It just makes everything more pathetic. He's using her, she's using him to feel superior to me, and I'm the idiot who almost married a lying, indebted man. You're not an idiot, Emma. You trusted. Trusting isn't weakness. No? I looked at him. Then why does it feel like it? Jake had no answer for that. At 3 p.m, I went to the venue where the dinner would be held. Lily had chosen a pretentious place in Manhattan, the kind of restaurant where waiters look at you disdainfully if you don't know how to pronounce bouillabaisse correctly. Typical of her. I checked the arrangements. Everything was perfect, of course. Lily was always good at creating pretty facades. It was what lay beneath that was rotten. My mother was there, helping with the final details. She saw me, and her face lit up. "Emma, darling, you look beautiful." She hugged me, and the smell of her perfume, Chanel No. 5, always Chanel No. 5, made me want to cry. Isn't it exciting? Lily finally found someone. I was starting to think she'd never settle down. Thought, Mom doesn't know. She has no idea what's going to happen today. What she's about to discover about her 2 daughters. This will destroy her too, but she needs to know. Everyone needs to know. Very exciting, I agreed, the lie coming out smooth as silk. And you and Brandon, everything okay? You look tense. Another lie. I was getting too good at this. Mom, do you trust me? She blinked, surprised by the question. Of course I do, darling. Why? Just remember this tonight. No matter what happens, remember that I love you, and that sometimes the truth hurts, but it's necessary. She frowned, confused, but nodded. You're being strange, Emma. I know. I kissed her cheek. I'll see you soon. Marcus picked me up at 5:30. He was impeccable. Dark gray suit, perfectly tailored, the kind of outfit that screams success without needing ostentatious logos. When he got in the car, he let out a low whistle. Emma Harrison, you look killer. That's the idea. I took a deep breath. Marcus, I need to warn you. This is going to get ugly. Very ugly. If you want to leave now, I understand. He looked at me for a long moment, then took my hand. Emma, when Lily dumped me, she said I'd never be anything, that I was an unambitious loser who'd end up living in his mom's basement at 40. His jaw clenched. I built an $8 million company partly because I wanted to prove her wrong, but also because I wanted to prove to myself that I was worth more than her opinion of me. He squeezed my hand. Today isn't just about you getting justice. It's about me getting it too. So yes, I'll stay. Until the very end. Something loosened in my chest. I wasn't alone. No matter how ugly it got, I wasn't alone. Thank you, I whispered. No need to thank me. It's what decent people do for each other. Reflection. And there it was again. True love. Not romance, not passion. Just someone staying when it would be easier to leave. Just chosen loyalty, not blood obligation. We arrived at the restaurant at 6. The hall was beautiful, I had to admit. White flowers everywhere, white roses, of course, because she knew I would hate them, candles, soft lighting. It looked like a fairy tale. What a perfect lie. Guests began to arrive. Family, friends, Brandon's coworkers. Everyone smiling, happy, excited to meet Lily's mystery boyfriend. Jake arrived and stood near me, solid and silent. And then Lily entered. She was stunning. Red dress, she chose the red one after all, hair in perfect waves, impeccable makeup. And on her finger, sparkling under the soft lights, was my grandmother's ring. Our eyes met for a second. She smiled, that superior smile I knew so well. The smile that said, I won. Not yet, little sister, not yet. Brandon entered right behind her, his hand on her lower back in a possessive way he used to use with me. He saw me, and for a second, just 1 second, panic crossed his face. But he recovered quickly, putting his mask back on. Emma, Lily came up to me, hugging me as if we were the closest sisters in the world. She looked at Marcus, and I saw the exact moment she recognized him. Her eyes widened. The color drained from her face. For one glorious second, she was completely speechless. Lily, Marcus said, his voice polite but cold, you look, well, time has been kind to you. Marcus? She stammered. What are you doing here? Emma invited me. He put his arm around my waist, a casual but clearly intimate gesture. We've grown quite close lately. Funny how life works, right? You told me I'd never amount to anything. And look, $8 million later, I guess you were wrong. The silence that followed was delicious. Brandon was pale, looking between me, Marcus, and Lily as if trying to solve an impossible puzzle. Lily looked like she was going to throw up. And me? I smiled, calm, serene, powerful. So, I said, my voice cutting through the silence, shall we start dinner? I'm eager to hear the big announcement. Thought, let them suffer. Let them wonder what I know, what I've planned, when the bomb will drop. Let the fear grow, because fear is what I felt for 2 weeks. And now, it's their turn. Lily recovered, putting her fake smile back on. Of course, let's sit down. The dinner began. Polite conversations, forced laughter. Brandon couldn't stop looking at me. Lily couldn't stop looking at Marcus. And Marcus was perfectly calm, charming my mother, telling funny stories about his company, being absolutely delightful. He was good at it, very good. After the main course, Lily stood up, lightly tapping her champagne flute with a knife. The crystal sound silenced the room. Thank you all for coming, she began, her voice trembling slightly. We have an important announcement to make. Brandon stood beside her, taking her hand. He was still pale, but he put a smile on his face. Lily and I, he began, have something special, something that even we didn't expect. Reflection. Here it comes. The big lie. The fairy tale they built on the broken bones of my trust. We fell in love, Lily continued, looking at Brandon with eyes that almost seemed genuine. I know it's complicated. I know some people might not understand, but when you find your true love, you can't fight it. My mother gasped. Other guests murmured, confused. Jake squeezed my hand under the table. Brandon was my sister's fiancé, Lily said, and had the audacity to look sad. And that made everything harder. But Emma is strong. She'll understand. She always understands. All eyes turned to me. It was my cue. I stood up, slowly, deliberately. The silence in the room was so heavy, I could hear my own heart beating. You're right, Lily, I said, my voice clear and firm. I understand. I understand perfectly. Relief washed over her face. I understand, I continued, that you're a liar, that you're a traitor, and that you stole our grandmother's ring from my room to wear while you slept with my fiancé in my bed. The silence exploded into chaos. The world stopped. Not metaphorically, literally stopped. Every person in that room froze, processing my words as if they were written in a foreign language they needed to mentally translate. My mother was the first to break the silence. "Emma, what are you saying?" I didn't take my eyes off Lily. I watched the panic spread across her face like ink in water, fast, inevitable, staining everything. "I'm saying," I replied, my voice strangely calm, "that my sister and my fiancé have been having an affair for 4 months. I'm saying they slept together in my house, in my bed, while I was working. I'm saying that this true love she's romanticizing is actually a calculated and cruel betrayal that began 3 years ago, since the day she met Brandon on my 25th birthday." "This is insane," Lily shrieked, but her voice was too high-pitched, too desperate. "Emma, you're having a breakdown. I never—" "Jake," I said calmly, "the photos, please." Jake stood up and began passing envelopes around the table. Inside each, copies of the messages, of the photos, of the evidence we had meticulously collected over 2 weeks. I watched as each person opened their envelope. I saw their expressions change: shock, disgust, anger. My mother turned as white as paper, her hands trembling so much she dropped the photos onto the table. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Oh my God, this can't be real." "It's real, Mom." My voice broke for the first time. "Everything is real." Brandon tried to speak. "Emma, listen, this isn't what it looks like." "It's not?" I laughed, and the sound came out bitter, broken. "Then explain it to me, Brandon. Explain this message here." I pulled out my phone and read aloud. "You're incredible. I've never felt this with anyone, not even with her." Or this: "When are we going to tell her?" Or, my favorite, "She'll be so devastated. My sister, she's always been so emotionally fragile." Lily was crying now, but they weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of someone caught, of someone who knows there's no way out. "Emma, please," she pleaded. "You don't understand. We didn't want this to happen. We tried to fight against." "Fight against? You fought against it by sleeping with him in my bed? Fight against it by stealing our grandmother's ring? Fight against it by lying to me every day, hugging me, telling me you loved me while destroying my life?" "I love you," Lily screamed back. "You're my sister. I've always loved you. But you don't understand what it's like to live in your shadow. You were always the perfect daughter, the one who did everything right, the one everyone adored. I just wanted something that was mine." Reflection. And there it was, the naked truth. It wasn't about Brandon. It was never about Brandon. It was about her feeling inferior. It was about competition I didn't even know existed. It was about envy so deep that she was willing to destroy me just to feel superior. "So you chose my fiancé?" My voice was low now, dangerous. "He didn't love you," Lily screamed, desperate. "Not really. He told me. He said you were comfortable, safe, but that with me, he felt real passion." I looked at Brandon. He was sweating, his face red, his eyes darting between me and Lily like a cornered animal looking for an escape. "Is it true?" I asked him. I was just comfortable? "Emma, no." "Answer the question." Marcus stood beside me, his voice low but menacing. She deserves at least honesty now. Brandon ran a hand through his hair, a gesture I recognized. He did that when he was nervous. At first, yes. "I loved you. But then Lily and I started talking, and she understood me in a way you never—" "Understood?" I laughed, hysterically. "She understood you? Brandon, she used you. Don't you realize? Do you think she wants you for who you are?" "She loves me," he insisted, pathetic. She loves you. I took out another envelope, the one Jake had given me that morning. Jake, tell him. Tell him about the debts. Jake stood up, impassive. Brandon Mitchell owes $53,000 in online gambling debts. He has a secret bank account, makes irregular withdrawals, and is being sued by 2 different betting companies. The silence that followed was absolute. Lily turned to Brandon, her eyes wide. What? You didn't know? I asked softly. You didn't know that the true love he feels for you is directly related to the fact that you have money, that your family is rich, that you could save him from financial ruin? That's not true, Brandon shouted. I love Lily. The debts have nothing to do with… Then why didn't you tell her? Jake interrupted. If you have such true and honest love, why hide that you're broke? Brandon had no answer. Lily was looking at him now, and I could see the realization spreading across her face. She was understanding, finally understanding that she wasn't special, that she was just convenient. You used me, she whispered. You just wanted my money. No, Lily, no. I love you, I swear. Liar! She threw her champagne glass at him. The liquid splashed onto his expensive suit, dripping down his face. You're a liar. You told me it was true love. You told me I was special. You are special. Brandon was desperate now. Lily, please listen. No. She was really crying now, tears destroying her perfect makeup. No. I destroyed my sister for you. I betrayed the only person who was always by my side for you. And you just wanted money? Something strange happened then. For a moment, just a moment, I felt pity for her. I saw the insecure little girl beneath the manipulative woman. I saw someone who was so desperate for validation that she destroyed everything around her in its pursuit. But the pity quickly passed, because she had still made choices. She had still betrayed me. And consequences don't disappear just because you finally understand you made a mistake. My mother stood up, swaying. I need to get out of here. She looked at Lily, and there was something broken in her eyes. You are my daughter. I love you. But what you did? I don't know if I can forgive that. Mom, please. Lily tried to reach for her. Don't touch me, my mother recoiled. No. I need time. I need to think. She left, and half the guests followed her. Those who remained were in shock, whispering among themselves, looking at Lily and Brandon with a mixture of disgust and morbid fascination. Marcus approached Lily. She looked at him, her eyes red and swollen. Marcus, she began, her voice broken. I'm so sorry for everything, for hurting you, for being cruel, for… No, he interrupted her, his voice cold. You don't. You feel sorry for yourself. There's a difference. He looked at her with something akin to compassion, but not quite. Lily, you were always beautiful, always smart, but you were never kind, and kindness matters more than you realize. He returned to me, took my hand. Emma, are you ready to go? I looked around the room, at Lily, destroyed and crying, at Brandon, pathetic and desperate, at the guests, shocked and uncomfortable, at Jake, solid and loyal by my side. Wait, I said. I pulled something from my pocket, a small blue velvet box. Inside was the engagement ring Brandon had given me. You'll need this, I told him, to pay off your debts. I threw the box onto the table. It hit his plate with a dull, final thud. Oh, and Lily? I turned to my sister one last time. Grandma's ring? You're going to give it back. Today. Or I'll call the police and report it as theft. Your choice. She took off the ring with trembling fingers, placing it on the table as if it burned her. Emma, she whispered, I'm so sorry. I know, and it was true. I knew she felt it, but feeling wasn't enough. You made choices. Now, live with them. I turned to leave, Marcus on one side, Jake on the other. Emma, Brandon called after me. Please, we can talk about this. We can work it out. I stopped at the door, looked back one last time. No, I said, simply. We can't, because I finally understood something. You don't deserve my forgiveness. You don't deserve my anger. You deserve nothing from me. You are just nothing. And I left. Outside, the rain that had threatened all day finally began to fall. Thick, cold, cleansing. I stood on the sidewalk, letting the water wet my face, mixing with the tears that finally fell. Jake hugged me from behind, silent. Marcus stood beside me, just present. It's over, Jake whispered. Emma, it's over. I know. My voice came out broken. Then why does it feel like it's just beginning? Because now comes the hard part, Marcus said softly. Now you have to rebuild. And rebuilding is always harder than destroying. Reflection. He was right. The revenge was satisfying. It was just. But it also left an emptiness. Because when you destroy something, even if it's something that deserved to be destroyed, you lose a part of yourself in the process. And now, I had to figure out who Emma was without Brandon, without Lily, without the family I thought I had. Let's go, Jake said. Let's get out of here. Let's go to my apartment. We'll order bad Chinese food and watch bad movies, and you can cry all you want without judgment. Can I come? Marcus asked hesitantly. Or is this a best friend moment? I looked at him. This man who had been hurt by my sister, who had every reason to hate me by association, but who chose to help me anyway. You can come, I said, but fair warning, I cry ugly, like snot running, horrific sobs, the whole deal. He smiled. I'll survive. We went to Jake's apartment. We ordered Chinese food, we watched bad movies, and I cried. I cried for hours. I cried for the sister I lost, or perhaps for the sister I never had. I cried for the destroyed relationship. I cried for the broken trust. I cried for everything I thought was true and wasn't. And they stayed. Marcus and Jake. They stayed and didn't try to fix me, didn't try to tell me it would be okay. They just stayed. And somehow, that was enough. 3 weeks after the dinner, I woke up in a new apartment. It wasn't large, a small loft in Brooklyn with exposed brick walls and windows that let in too much light in the morning. But it was mine, completely mine. No memories of Brandon, no ghosts of Lily, no past haunting me in every room. Jake helped me move. In fact, Jake and Marcus, who, surprisingly, had become friends in the past few weeks. They carried boxes, assembled furniture, argued about the best position for the sofa as if it were a matter of life or death. You guys are ridiculous, I said, watching them measure the distance between the sofa and the TV for the 5th time. This is science, Emma, Marcus replied, seriously. Viewing angle matters. It's a 40-square-meter apartment. Any angle works. You don't understand anything about interior design, Jake declared, and they went back to arguing. I smiled. I had smiled more in the last 3 weeks than in the last 3 months. They weren't happy smiles. It still hurt too much for real happiness. But they were genuine smiles. Small moments of lightness amidst the rebuilding. The rebuilding wasn't linear. There were bad days. Days when I woke up and for a second forgot everything, and then remembered, and it was as if the ground disappeared beneath my feet again. Days when I saw a couple on the street and felt such intense anger that I had to stop and breathe until it passed. Days when my mother called, and I couldn't answer because I still didn't know what to say to her. But there were also good days. Days when I worked on new design projects and felt creative for the first time in months. Days when Jake took me out for photo shoots, and I saw the city through his lens. Beautiful, chaotic, full of possibilities. Days when Marcus showed up with coffee and bagels, and we talked about everything and nothing, building something new and undefined that wasn't romance, but also wasn't just friendship. A month after the dinner, my mother finally asked to meet. We chose a neutral cafe, not the place we used to go together, not near her house, not near mine. Neutral territory for a difficult conversation. She looked older, or perhaps I was just seeing it for the first time. wrinkles around her eyes I didn't remember, gray hairs she always dyed but now let show, a tiredness that went beyond the physical. "Hi, Mom." Emma. She hugged me, and the hug was too tight, too desperate. "My girl, I'm so sorry." We sat. We ordered coffee. We were silent for a long moment, neither of us knowing where to start. "I failed you both," she finally said. "You and Lily. I failed as a mother." "Mom, no." "I failed," she insisted. "I saw the rivalry between you growing. I saw Lily becoming more and more bitter, more competitive, and I ignored it. I thought it was just sister stuff, that you'd grow out of it." Her hands trembled around her coffee cup. "I should have intervened. I should have talked to her about the envy, about comparing herself to you. I should have protected you." Reflection. She was right, and she was wrong. Yes, she could have done more. But Lily was an adult. Lily made choices. And sometimes the people we love disappoint us, not because we were poorly raised, but because they are flawed humans making terrible choices. "You couldn't have known," I said softly. "No one could. She's good at hiding." "She's destroyed, Emma, completely destroyed." My mother wiped away tears. "Brandon broke up with her a week after the dinner, said she had ruined everything. She lost her job. Her boss was at the dinner, saw everything. She's living with me now because she can't afford her apartment alone." Part of me, the petty part, the part that still bled, felt satisfaction at this. But the larger part, the part that was trying to heal, only felt emptiness. "And you want me to feel sorry for her?" I said. It wasn't a question. "No." My mother shook her head. "No. She made terrible choices. She hurt you in unforgivable ways. I wanted you to know that she's paying the price, and that she knows what she lost." "Knowing isn't enough, Mom." "I know." She took my hand. "Emma, I'm not asking you to forgive her. I'm not asking you to talk to her again. I'm just asking that one day, perhaps, when it hurts less, you consider that people do horrible things out of pain, insecurity, envy, and that sometimes the most hurt person is the one who hurts others the most." Reflection. She was asking me to humanize Lily, to see beyond the betrayal and recognize the broken person underneath. And part of me knew she was right. Lily wasn't a monster. She was a deeply insecure person who made monstrous choices. But knowing that didn't erase the pain. It didn't heal the betrayal. It didn't rebuild trust. "I'll think about it," I promised. "One day. But not now. Now I need to heal. I need to find myself again. I need to discover who Emma is without all of this." "I understand." My mother squeezed my hand. "Emma, I'll be here, always. No matter what happens, you are my daughter, and I love you." We cried together there, in the neutral cafe, while the world kept spinning around us. And when we left, something had changed. It wasn't healed. Healing takes time, a long time. But it was beginning. 2 months after the dinner, Marcus finally took me to that dinner he had promised. Not a revenge dinner, not a drama dinner, just dinner. 2 people getting to know each other with no agenda, no games, no past weighing on every word. He took me to a small Italian restaurant in the West Village, the kind of place tourists never find, where the owner knows everyone by name and the food is made by the nonna in the back kitchen. "How did you find this place?" I asked, looking around. "I used to come here when I was starting the company. It was cheap, the food was good, and the nonna let me work on my laptop for hours without complaining." He smiled. "She told me I worked too much, that I'd get old and lonely if I didn't stop to live." Was she right? About working too much? Absolutely. About being alone? He looked at me, and there was something soft in his eyes. "I'm working on that." We dined slowly, talking about everything. About work, about dreams, about fears. About how strange it was to rebuild your life in your 20s when you thought you had everything figured out. About how sometimes the worst things that happen end up leading to the best places. "Do you think you'll forgive her?" Marcus eventually asked. "Lily?" I was silent for a long moment, swirling the wine in my glass. "I don't know," I admitted. "Part of me wants to. Part of me feels like forgiving is the right thing to do. But another part is still so hurt that the idea of forgiveness seems impossible. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting, Marcus said softly. It doesn't mean letting her back into your life. It just means letting go of the anger, releasing the weight of hatred. Did you forgive her for what she did to you? He thought for a moment. Yes, but it took years, and I only managed when I realized that staying angry at her was hurting me more than it hurt her. Anger was a poison I was drinking, hoping she would die. Reflection. He was right. The anger was heavy. It was exhausting. And the longer I held it, the more it consumed me. But forgiveness was a process. It wasn't a moment. It wasn't a single decision. It was a daily choice to let go a little more, to carry a little less. Maybe one day, I said, but not today. Today, I just want to move forward, build something new, be someone beyond the girl who was betrayed. You already are, Marcus said, taking my hand across the table. Emma, you are the strongest woman I know. You took the worst possible betrayal and turned it into strength, into growth, into justice. That's incredible. I don't feel strong. Most days I feel broken. Broken can be fixed, and sometimes broken things, when fixed, become stronger in the cracks. He smiled. It's science, kintsugi, the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold. The broken piece becomes more valuable, more beautiful, because the cracks are part of its story. Tears burned my eyes. Are you comparing me to broken pottery? I'm comparing you to art, he corrected, smiling. 3 months after the dinner, Jake showed me something. Photos, hundreds of them. Photos he had taken of me over the past few months without me realizing. Me laughing while assembling furniture. Me focused on a project. Me crying on his couch. Me smiling at Marcus. Me looking out the window of my new apartment. Me living, healing, growing. Why did you take all these photos? I asked, flipping through the prints. Because you needed to see, Jake said, simply. You needed to see that you're not the same person you were 3 months ago. Look at you, Emma. Look at this woman. She's strong, she's resilient, she's hurt, yes, but she's healing, and she's beautiful. I looked at the photos, really looked, and he was right. The woman in those photos wasn't the Emma who would marry Brandon. She wasn't the Emma who trusted blindly. She wasn't the Emma who thought family meant automatic loyalty. She was someone new, someone more cautious, yes, more distrustful, perhaps, but also stronger, more aware, more real. Thank you, I whispered, for everything, for staying, for holding me when I fell apart, for reminding me that I am more than what they did to me. Always, Jake promised. You're my best friend, Emma, my chosen family. And chosen family, that one doesn't betray you. That one stays. Reflection. And there it was again. True love. Not romance, not blood, not obligation. Just choice. Chosen loyalty. Chosen presence. Chosen love. And that was worth more than any blood tie Lily and I shared. 6 months after the dinner, I received a letter, handwritten, from Lily. I stared at the envelope for an hour before opening it. Part of me wanted to burn it, unread. But another part, the part that was trying to heal, that was trying to be better, needed to know what she had to say. Emma, I don't expect you to read this. I don't expect you to reply. I don't expect anything from you because I lost the right to expect anything the moment I chose to betray you. I've been going to therapy twice a week. I'm working on myself, trying to understand why I did what I did. And the truth is, there's no excuse. There's no good enough reason. I was envious. I was insecure. I was so obsessed with proving I was as good as you that I destroyed the only person who always loved me unconditionally. You were always the better sister, kinder, more talented, more genuine. And instead of inspiring me, it made me angry. As if your success somehow diminished mine. As if there wasn't room for both of us to shine. I was wrong about everything. About you, about me, about what matters in life. Brandon didn't love me. You were right. He used me, and I let him because I was so desperate to win that I didn't care about the cost. And the cost was you. It was our family. It was everything that truly mattered. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I'm just asking that you know that I know. I know what I lost. I know what I destroyed. And I will spend the rest of my life trying to be someone who deserved to have a sister like you. With love, even if I don't deserve to say it, Lily. I cried reading the letter. Not tears of forgiveness, not yet, but tears of recognition, of seeing that she finally understood, of knowing that the pain wasn't one-sided, even if hers was self-inflicted. I kept the letter. I didn't reply. I wasn't ready yet, but I kept it, because maybe, one day, I would be. A year after the dinner, I was at my apartment with Marcus, Jake, and a few other friends I had made in the past few months. I was having a small party, celebrating the launch of a big design project I had landed, celebrating my new apartment, celebrating life. Marcus was in the kitchen, trying not to burn the pizzas he insisted on making from scratch. Jake was documenting everything with his camera, as always. And me? I was laughing, genuinely, completely laughing. You look happy, Jake observed, lowering his camera. I am, I realized, surprised. I really am. Are you going to forgive her? Marcus asked from the kitchen. Lily? Everyone fell silent, waiting for my answer. I don't know, I admitted. Maybe one day. But you know what I realized? Forgiveness isn't about her. It's about me. It's about letting go of the weight, moving forward, building something new. And I'm doing that. With or without formal forgiveness, I'm doing that. That's growth, Jake said, smiling. That's survival, I corrected, but maybe they're the same thing. That's growth, Jake said, smiling. That's survival, I corrected, but maybe they're the same thing. That night, after everyone had left, I sat by my apartment window looking at the city lights. Marcus had stayed, helping to clean up, and now he was sitting beside me, our shoulders touching. You know what's funny? I said. A year ago, I thought I knew exactly how my life would be. Marriage to Brandon, house in the suburbs, 2 kids, maybe a dog, all planned, all safe. And now I have no idea. I looked at him, and that doesn't scare me anymore. In fact, it's liberating, not knowing, being open to possibilities. Marcus smiled, taking my hand. Possibilities like this, I said, squeezing his hand back. Whatever this is. Like my career going in directions I never imagined. Like friendships that became family. Like discovering that strength isn't never breaking, it's getting back up afterward. You're incredible, Emma Harrison. I'm a survivor, Marcus 10. I smiled. There's a difference, is there? Incredible is what you're born being. Survivor is what you choose to become. We sat in silence, watching the city, and for the first time in a year, I felt peace. Not complete happiness. There were still bad days, still pain, still scars, but peace. The peace of knowing that I had survived, that I had fought for my dignity and won, that I had transformed the worst betrayal into strength. Final reflection. Lily taught me that blood doesn't guarantee loyalty. Brandon taught me that love without respect is just disguised obsession. And I myself learned that strength isn't never falling. It's getting up every time you fall. It's choosing to heal instead of getting revenge. It's choosing to grow instead of becoming bitter. It's choosing to live instead of just surviving. 2 years after the dinner, I ran into Lily by chance at a cafe. She looked different, thinner, paler, more humble. She no longer had that arrogance she used to have. She looked small, lost. Our eyes met. She froze, clearly not knowing whether to approach or flee. I took a deep breath. I thought about everything that had happened, about everything I had lost, about everything I had gained. And then I did something that surprised even myself. I gestured to the empty chair at my table. She approached hesitantly, as if expecting me to change my mind at any moment. "Hi," she said, her voice small. "Hi." We sat in silence for a long moment. I finally said, all of them, in fact. "You wrote 7 over the past 2 years. You read them all. I read them all. And do you forgive me?" I looked at her, this woman who was my sister, who was my betrayer, who was my greatest pain and greatest lesson. I'm working on it, I admitted. I'm not there yet. Maybe I never will be, completely. But I'm working on it, because I discovered that carrying anger is heavier than carrying forgiveness. Tears streamed down her face. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve your kindness. No, I agreed. You don't deserve it. But I deserve peace. And part of finding peace is letting go of anger. Not for you, for me. I'm so sorry, she whispered. Every day, Emma. Every day I feel it. I know. And it was true. I knew. But feeling isn't enough, Lily. You need to be better. You need to do better. Not for me, for you. I'm trying. Therapy, working on myself, trying to understand why I was so cruel. And is it working? Some days, yes. Others, no. But I'm trying. We finished coffee in silence, and when we said goodbye, we didn't hug. We didn't promise weekly lunches or instant rebuilding. We just nodded, a small acknowledgement that perhaps one day we could find some kind of peace together. But not today. Today, I had my own life to live, my own happiness to build, and that was enough. 3 years later, I married Marcus in a small ceremony in Brooklyn. Jake was my best man because he was real family, chosen family, family who stayed when everything fell apart. Lily wasn't invited, but I sent a photo afterward. Not out of cruelty, out of honesty, because she deserved to see that I was happy, that I had survived, that I had prospered. She replied with a simple message. You look beautiful. He's lucky. I hope you're very happy. And for the first time, I believed she really hoped so. Forgiveness came slowly, in waves. Some days I would wake up and feel angry again. Other days I felt nothing. And some rare days, I felt something close to compassion. Healing isn't linear. It's messy, chaotic, full of setbacks and progress. But it's possible. And in the end, you discover that scars aren't signs of weakness. They are maps of battles you've won. Final message. This story shows us that family betrayal is one of the deepest pains we can face. When the people who should protect us are the ones who hurt us, the whole world seems to fall apart. But it also shows us that we are stronger than we imagine, that we can survive the unthinkable, that we can transform pain into strength. Family isn't just blood. Family is choice. It's loyalty. It's presence. It's love demonstrated through actions, not just words. Sometimes, the people we love the most disappoint us. And when that happens, you have two choices. Let the betrayal define you, or let it refine you. Emma chose the second option. She fought for her dignity, demanded justice, but also chose to heal, chose to grow, chose to live. And you? Have you ever experienced a betrayal that seemed impossible to overcome? How did you find the strength to move forward? If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any emotional stories. Let us know in the comments which story you'd like to hear next. Always remember, you are stronger than you think. The scars you carry are not signs of weakness. They are proof that you survived. And survival, my friend, is the most courageous form of victory. And you? What do you value more, loyalty or blood? Leave your answer in the comments. There are more emotional stories appearing on your screen now. Stay with us on this journey of emotion, overcoming, and truth. Because in the end, we're all just trying to find our way back home. And sometimes, home isn't a place, it's a feeling of peace with yourself.